you guessed it right. Tshwane is in big trouble, and the council needs to elect a new mayor so it can pass its budget and deliver services. Another special sitting has been called, but it's likely to be blocked by ongoing fighting. Action SA says the meeting will be chaired by an illegitimate speaker. Coalition partners are threatening legal action after Tshwane adjourned Monday's special sitting, and City Manager Johan Medler called it to debate a motion of no confidence against the speaker. So let's just get some reaction to some of these developments with Action SA Chairperson Michael Beaumont joining me this morning. Michael, always a pleasure. Thank you for your time.
Good morning. It's good to be here with you.
What is happening, or what rather happened, in your view?
Well, I mean, the biggest problem is you have a majority behind a multi-party coalition in the city of Tshwane that is being eroded by either vote buying that took place on the 28th of February, or now unlawful attempts to ensure that meetings do not conclude their business. So last Wednesday there was an election of a mayor. That election would have ensured that we could pass budgets and start governing again, and the speaker blocked it because the ANC and EFF have lost their majority, courtesy of people being removed who voted with them before. Yesterday there was a motion of no confidence to deal with the speaker, knowing that we will not elect the mayor when he is in the chair because of his agenda to block it. And he came in and unlawfully adjourned the meeting, in a meeting he shouldn't even have been chairing in the first place. So we have a problem where a minority is unlawfully preventing the majority from governing.
Yeah, was there motive for frustrating processes, do you think?
Well, because they're going to lose. The voters awarded this multi-party coalition, of which Action SA is a part, a majority in 2021. A narrow one, but a majority. And the point here is that through this vote buying and now through blocking it, they're trying to ensure that they don't lose the election by ensuring no election takes place. And I imagine their preferred outcome is the city being placed under administration, so that the province and the ANC by extension can control things at that particular level.
Yeah. So where does this place then the residents of Tshwane?
Well, unfortunately, the residents have been placed very much on the back burner by this political wrangling taking place by the ANC and EFF, because, basically the city has got no one at the wheel. Service delivery needs political leadership. There are communities that are crying out for that leadership. We've got political parties with different constituencies who are very well placed to ensure that leadership is provided. But this is being prevented from taking place by the ANC, EFF and their partners.
And with that being said, what are the next steps that you're considering as Action SA?
Well, as a coalition, and I think it's very important we act as a coalition, that we've met last night, we've briefed lawyers. Our lawyers are drawing up papers as we speak, and our plans to be in the North Gauteng High Court as soon as possible. That particular litigation will focus on a few things. Firstly, it must force the meeting to hear the motion of no confidence. It must compel the municipal manager to chair that meeting and to interdict the speaker from interfering again. And it must interdict the ANC, the EFF and their partners, and all councillors in the city of Tshwane for that matter, from any disruptive behaviour that stops the council doing the business of the residents.
Yeah, and definitely reading up and seeing the coalition speaking against the actions of Tshwane, saying that his actions were unlawful.
Without any question. I mean, we had to present him with a petition last week, with a majority of councillors signing a petition saying, call the meeting to elect the mayor on Friday, call the meeting to remove the speaker on Friday. He just patently ignored it, even though the Municipal Structures Act requires him to call that meeting. It takes all discretion out of his hands. He didn't. We then had to approach the municipal manager, who the Structures Act says if the speaker won't, you must go to the municipal manager. We did that, and he called the meeting ultimately. He was supposed to chair the meeting yesterday, but the speaker walked in and just collapsed the meeting to ensure he doesn't face that motion of no confidence. It's a subversion of democracy.
Yeah. So what about those allegations, Michael, about forged signatures?
Well, it's fanciful. I mean, it's coming from a group that produced Marunwa Makwarela, so, you can imagine how it becomes amusing. The bottom line is that we have been provided no information about concerns in that regard. We've only seen this on social media. As it relates to the cases on social media, we've had those councillors depose affidavits in the coalition, stating, I signed this document, I stand behind it, etc. And really what this is just another attempt to prevent the business of the residents being done.
For any, Tshwane resident wondering, when will a mayor be elected? What are the timelines looking like?
Well, there's a council meeting today to elect a mayor. We once again approach as a multi-party coalition with the majority without any desire to see any delays in this council meeting. And I suspect very strongly the ANC and EFF, knowing they don't have the numbers, will disrupt the meeting and prevent it from taking place again today. But this is why we are preparing court papers for what happened yesterday, for what we believe will happen today, and we need the courts to compel these individuals to allow us to do the business of the residents again.
So the matter is in the hands of the courts in terms of that's the only other way you can resolve, the back and forth and the loggerheads.
Well, absolutely. I mean, the reality is when you have that many councillors who are preventing the council from doing its business, the reality of removing that many people forcefully is not realistic in a council environment without, potential injury or damage to property. And from that point of view, the only remedy that is left at this point in time is the courts, and the courts compelling people either to act lawfully or to stop them from acting unlawfully.
Right. Ideally, should a mayor be elected, what's of priority once, of course, the idea of stability is once and for all implemented? Because I think that's what the whole country is looking for, some stability in Tshwane. What's of priority?
Well, I think the first thing is they need to announce a mayoral committee. They need to show people that the leadership is at the wheel in the city of Tshwane. That adjustment budget and the draft budget for public consultation needs to be dealt with in council as soon as humanly possible, so that we can get that process going, because service delivery flows from a budget. If you don't have that in place, you don't have service delivery. But then I think most importantly that government needs to get on the ground and start delivering services in a very public way, so that people can see there's someone at the wheel and the city is being led.
All right, Michael Beaumont, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for your time. Action SA Chairperson joining us this morning, give us an update not only on the events that took place just quite recently, but also the next steps, saying the courts are the only way to put this matter into bed once and for all. So there could be